In the heart of Galveston County, strength takes many forms. It's the power to build, the courage to lead, and the compassion to serve. These 6 women embody what it means to rise above challenges in community and in life. This is the power of leadership. This is the heart of a champion.
I am Jocelyn Sullivan.
I am Maria Luisa Mercado.
I am Megan Moore Ortiz.
I am Concetta Maceo Sims.
I am Jill Reason.
My name is Leslie Fortenberry, and I am
a
Woman of the Year.
I am Megan Moore Ortiz. I was born in Houston, Texas, and moved to Galveston the summer before my freshman year of high school. My father and stepmother, Sue, decided that they wanted to move to the island. And we'd spend weekends and summers here. I would go water skiing in the port, windsurfing in the port. I mean, can you imagine doing that today? Played all the different sports. I was on the debate team. Graduated a little early. Was ready to get off of our little island and ventured off to Austin to go to the University of Texas at Austin, and loved it there. Loved live music scene, and I worked at the Capitol for Representative Craig Island. When I graduated from the University of Texas and went to law school at South Texas College of Law, Houston, was when I really started to think about the island again and missed the community and missed the people here. Realizing the support that people have for one another here in the community was attractive. And as I got older and recognizing that was something really incredibly special, I recognized that's where I wanted to raise my family. So I went to South Texas College of Law, was recruited to go to work for Mill Shirley here in Galveston, but in their Houston office. So here I am, riding the elevator 2 to 3 days a week with George Mitchell at the JP Morgan Chase Tower and feeling like I am on top of the world. But something I think was missing. I loved it. I felt important. I felt special. But serving my family and my community wasn't quite there at that time. I left Mill Shirley and went back to work with my dad at Harbor Offshore Marine. He had started the company when I was in law school. But then he sends me to a shipyard down at the end of a dirt road in Amelia, Louisiana, to put a boat through a Coast Guard inspection. I have spent time working at the Capitol and on the 32nd floor of the JP Morgan Chase Tower, and now I'm going to go climb through the holds of an aluminum crew boat in a shipyard in the bayous of Louisiana. I had no idea what I was doing. None. Zero. What I recognized sitting in that shipyard that year was how hardworking everybody was and how salt of the earth they were. And their goals were to put their kids through Little League baseball. That's what they wanted. They wanted to have a good living. They wanted to have a good family. It was inspiring to recognize that that's what the world should be made up of. And so I stayed with Harbor, and we continued forward. And it wasn't easy. I had gone from understanding, reading about laws and understanding law and making laws and looking at textbooks to aluminum crew boats and diesel engines. I know how to read things, but I'm not necessarily mechanically inclined. My father is incredibly so and creative. I am not necessarily. But I learned, and I figured it out.
I am from Macon, Georgia, raised in a Christian-filled, loving home by my 2 wonderful parents alongside my 2 sisters. I think that being raised, learning how to balance church, school, work, sports, at a very young age with my parents' guidance has really shaped me to be the person I am today. I graduated from high school and attended Georgia Southern University, where I received a Bachelor of Science degree, was very involved in my sorority. And then I moved to Charleston, South Carolina to start my first job. And while I was there, after work, we went out with some friends, and in walk these 3 handsome men. And that night, I met Todd, Johnny, and Billy Sullivan from Galveston, Texas. I hung out with them all weekend long, exploring Charleston. And then when they left, Billy pursued, and we dated long distance for a year. And next thing I know, I'm driving in my car, and my cute daddy is behind me, my rearview mirror, driving the U-Haul, and we're heading to Texas. I guess that was my first bold champion move. And I thought I was about to start a career that required a 3-year commitment, but God definitely had another plan. And He thought it was time for me to start my biggest role, most important role in life, which was becoming a mama. And I wake up every day to try to be the best person I can be because of them. So I was thinking about the word champion, and that's a very strong word. And what does that mean to me? Like, how do I identify with the word champion? And I started thinking it means like mama bear mode to me. When the boys were building a villa, they thought a neighborhood coffee shop would really benefit real estate here. So I reached out to Angela Brown, who is the original owner of Mod Coffee Shop, and kind of told her the situation. And she was so kind, and she just took me under her wing. She let me ask all the questions. She let me come and see how her businesses ran. Everything really gave me the confidence to open Sugar Bean. And then 2 years later, we received the award from Galveston Daily News, the Reader Choice Awards, for the best coffee shop. And Angela took the clipping from the newspaper and wrote, "Proud Mama Bear," and mailed it to me. And I thought, wow, like, that is women supporting women. That is encouraging other businesses on the island. And that meant everything to me. And after that moment, I thought, that is how I'm going to lead as well.
I'm actually a common story of America. I'm an immigrant. I was born in Mexico. I am the oldest of 10 children. And because I'm the oldest, I was my dad's right hand. And so I started working with him in the fields when I was about 6.5 years old. And because I was the oldest, I was my mother's right hand, helping with all the little ones that were coming up behind her. And there's sort of a dichotomy that happens when you are given as a child roles that adults are doing, both male and female, and you think, I can handle all this, and I can probably handle anything else that comes along the way. And my father, because he was such a good worker, the farmer decided to go ahead and prepare papers for him and my mom and myself. So I came over when I was young, about 3.5, 4 years old. And because we were farm workers, we grew up in farms all around West Texas and North Texas. So I was very fortunate that in school I did very well. And even though I had to learn English when I started school because my parents didn't know English, the teachers that I had were really very mentoring and were very supportive of our learning. And for one of the teachers, because I learned everything so quickly, I became her aide. And I would teach the other little Latino children that didn't know English or whatever else when I was in the 3rd or 4th grade, whatever their homework was. And so you're mentoring and being enrolled and trying to be a help to somebody else. It was hard work, but it's just something that my father always told us, work is the only thing that we can actually shine in. It is what we do as a human being that defines us. And because he and my mother both are very hard workers, I think all of us ended up being that way. I had to work while I went through college, and I had to work when I went to law school. But nevertheless, there were always supportive people all around trying to make sure that I made it and that encouraged you to go a little further than what you think you can. I got to Galveston. I was in Lubbock in West Texas with my husband and my 2 children, who at the time were in elementary school. It was just a matter of we want to try something different. And my husband actually had been asked to come and work also for Legal Aid, Gulf Coast Legal Aid Foundation. We have Galveston and Bryan Station, and we said, let's go to Galveston. I like the ocean. And so we went to Galveston, and this ended up being a great place to raise kids. But it really wouldn't have been possible for me without having the support of my husband to say, yes, Maria was asked to serve on a national board for the Legal Services Corporation by President Clinton and then President Bush. She needs to travel while the little kids are here, and I'm going to take care of them. Fine. For anything else that happened, I've always been involved in statewide and national organizations, always promoting the role of women, promoting the role as a Latina, the arts. And in that process, I would also take my kids from time to time with me to some of these meetings, and they get the opportunity to see the Smithsonian and see all these other things that they probably wouldn't have had an opportunity to see.
Well, I was born in Austin, Texas, to Wendy Ogeron and Ronnie Maceo. I lived there till I was about 6, and my parents got a divorce. My mom moved to North Houston, and my dad moved to Galveston. And from there on, I grew up in 2 different places. And when I say 2 different places, we're talking the Woodlands and Galveston. And if you know anything about those 2 places, they are complete opposites, which I think really helped shape me and who I am and how I'm able to relate to different people because, I grew up on all sides of the coin. I went to St. Edward's University in Austin, Texas. I studied sociology and minored in biology. My goal was to become a doctor at first. That's why I studied biology. But my other big passion was cooking. And that was very much driven by my parents. My mom was a phenomenal cook, and so was my dad. I would come home from school in college, and I would watch Paula Deen Cooking Channel, and I would just take notes. And the day I graduated college, I called my dad, and my dad was dealing with some health issues. And I called him and I said, Dad, I'm turning in my last paper. I'm about to graduate. And he said, okay, well, I'm checking into the hospital because he needed a liver. And I remember that day being so heavy because it was a matter of I have this huge, exciting thing happening, but also I could be losing my dad at the same time. And so I graduated, and I spent a lot of time going back and forth from Austin to Galveston, helping take care of my grandmother, my dad, who was in the hospital, and being in Austin and just being a young 20-year-old trying to live her life, doing makeup, following my passions. And I remember the night before his transplant, we were talking to some people, and they told us the day before that he had a 13% chance of surviving through the operation. So our odds were slim, but we prayed through it, and he ended up getting his transplant. And I took a step back. At that time, I was a wine rep with Republic National, and I said, I don't want to do makeup. I don't want to do wine. I think what I need to do is go back to school and become a nurse, because that was what I was doing. That was like a calling on my life forever. So I told my dad that, and what's wild is that was really one of the only times that I really remember him telling me he was proud of me. So I moved in with my brother and started taking classes and working at the shop. And that's when everything turned. I had made that executive decision that I was going to go ahead and try my hand at the shop. I would sit in class when I was going to school, and I would draw out new floor plans, make schedules, make plans of what are we going to sell this week? How are we going to bring business in? Because in all reality, I came from working at Nordstrom, very busy, working at Republic National, very busy, lots of turnover, lots of dollars, big dollars. And then going to little Maceo Spice on 27th and Market when the sidewalks were still a hot mess and seeing maybe 5 people in a day. My whole dream in life was to have Maceo Spice in every home. So I've always wanted to grow the brand, to make it available in grocery stores or wherever or online, just so that anyone and everyone can buy it and knows about it. That's what I was working on while I was supposed to be paying attention in these like A&P classes where I wasn't interested in that anymore. So one night I told my dad, let's go to Paco for dinner. And I said, Daddy, I have something to tell you. And he was like, what? And I said, I'm not actually going to school anymore. And y'all, you should have seen his face. But I was strategic about this because I knew that he couldn't really react in Paco. You know what I mean? So I played my cards right. And I said, look, here's the deal. Give me 3 years. 3 years. If I don't do something with this business, then I'll go back to school. I said, but I have to have the chance.
I've been a lifelong resident of Galveston County and grew up in a home where kindness, selflessness, and compassion for others was consistently modeled. And as a result, my career path became one rooted in building relationships and connecting people with resources that improve their lives. My journey to become Director of Marketing and Community Engagement at Elitecare Emergency Hospital was built on resilience, reputation, and discipline, holding myself to high standards in both service and performance. Every step from college and early career roles to leading brand reputation, community outreach, today has taught me that consistent effort, empathy, and follow-through are what earn trust and position you to make a lasting impact. In healthcare, the pace can be relentless and stakes are high because our work impacts real people's access to care. I would say that I practice mental toughness by staying grounded in my why, to be humble and kind, slow to anger, and full of compassion in everything that I do. I'm lucky enough to work with a company that not only aligns with my why, but also allows staff flexibility and the opportunity to prioritize time with family. Spending downtime with my extremely supportive husband, Toby, and high-energy teenage sons, Deacon and Cannon, replenish my energy so I can bring my best self to work. For me, resilience isn't just pushing harder. It's knowing when to step back to preserve the clarity and compassion I need to lead. Passion is what fuels you, but work ethic is what carries you through the passion when passion alone isn't enough. My advice is to show up every day with integrity, deliver your commitments, and be willing to do hard work, even when no one is watching or singing your praises. And remember, your career is a long game. Persistence and adaptability are often more important than a perfect plan.
I was born in Miami, Florida, actually. Yes, my daddy was a pilot for Eastern Airlines, and we moved to Georgia when I was in the 4th grade. So pretty much my memory is all in Georgia, and went to high school there, grew up there, went off to college. I loved high school. High school was the best, cheerleader, all the things, and then went off to college, and that's where I met my husband, Dan Reason, in a badminton class. And we got married, and he came to Texas, came out here. I stayed in Georgia to finish my master's because if I would have left, I would have lost a lot of credits. So I stayed there and taught school for 2 years in Georgia, in Dawsonville, Georgia, and then moved to Texas to be with him, and that was 38 years ago. So it became home, and we had have 4 children and raised them in League City, Texas, but all over the area, and have loved every minute of it. I was exhausted when I got here because I was finishing my master's, teaching school full time, and planning a wedding. And we had a wedding in June, finished my master's, got to Texas. I was exhausted. And I said, I think I just want to substitute teach, just kind of see the area, feel things out. But I put my resume in to Clear Creek Independent School District
and got a call that afternoon that someone was needed a first grade position. This was a Friday afternoon. School started on Monday. So, don't say no. And I thought, okay, all right, this is the opportunity. This is going to be, I'm going to jump full force into this community and see what it is. Taught there for 5 or 6 years until Dan and I had our first child. And it was hard to leave him. I had a great caregiver with him. And so I finished out that year and went to U of H and supervised student teachers there and loved that. Then we had another baby. Everything was great. Then I said, do we want a third? We have a boy, we have a girl. Do we want a third? So, we got pregnant, and it was twin girls. So our surprise number 3 was twins, so that we had a family of 4. So having 3 girls, a boy and 3 girls, of course they took dance lessons, and we started, because my former students took at the Royal Academy of Fine Arts, and I would go watch them do the Nutcracker every year because they fed into the Bay Area Houston Ballet and Theater. Met the founder there, met Lynette Metzen-Gregg. She and I became very close friends, 20 years of helping her do various things or just being friends with her and watching the force that she was and all of the things that happened. My dear friend Lynette passed away. And the board of directors came to me and they said, we don't know what to do. Like, would you consider being the executive director? And I thought, well, I can't let her vision die, my friend. I can't let that happen. So absolutely, jump in, did a 5-year plan of all the things that, milestones that we want to see, all these things that, need to happen. And at the end of almost 3.5 years, we were almost there and COVID hit. So we start all over again. But I love that aspect of that. What I've learned in this position that I'm in now is immense. I feel like my back is heavy because there's an army of people behind me that got me to the seat. It's not just me. It takes a lot of people to make everything work.
I was thinking of challenges that we've had as a business owner, and I think probably any business owner in the entire world would say it was during COVID. And then all of a sudden, like a switch, that summer of 2020, you couldn't keep up. It was like you went from closed to gates wide open. And that's when I knew we really had to jump and seize that moment. We needed to grow. So the idea to open the Sugar Cubes came available.
So I think about the time when James Clark messaged me and he was like, I've got all this food, what are we going to do? And we collectively said, okay, let's feed the public who can do it. And I raised my hand. I said, absolutely, yes, us. And it's not even just me. It's just what you should be doing in your community. You should be giving back when you can. If we're not helping each other when we need it, what are we doing? Why are we even in this industry, or even in a bit? Why are we stewards of our business if we're not doing what we should be doing, which is using our resources and our connections to the best way possible?
But one of my biggest challenges was accepting the challenge of an entirely new career in my 40s in the midst of a pandemic. God opened the door I didn't even know I was knocking on, and with blind faith, I jumped into a rapidly changing healthcare landscape. With no medical knowledge beyond my own personal experiences, taking the kids to the doctor, adapting to a new industry while working to shift public perspective on the healthcare industry required creativity, quick problem solving, and a commitment to keeping the Elitecare mission at the center. But by focusing on solutions instead of setbacks and leaning on the strengths of my dynamic new work team, we turned a time of uncertainty into a period of growth and deep community trust.
So I remember sitting in a boardroom, one of my very first meetings, and I'm sitting in this boardroom with all of these gray-haired men, and we're talking about a job that's coming up that all of our various equipment is going on to. And I am new. I am brand new to this industry. I have no idea really what I'm doing. But I walked in and I smiled at everybody and I shook everybody's hand and I introduced myself. And then I sat and I listened. and I watched. And then the more I listened and the more I learned and the more I could speak with confidence later, it got easier and it got better. And I one day recognized that I was the expert in the room. And what an intriguing thing to be young and the only woman constantly and all of a sudden be the expert. I think we don't give ourselves enough credit so often that we're good and that we know what we're doing. And we certainly don't give it to ourselves early enough in life.
I think it's very important that you feel a passion for the work that you're in, whatever that field happens to be. Because I grew up poor, because I grew up being in circumstances both as a woman and as a Latina where things were just a little bit harder. The thing that is important is that whatever you're working in, whatever you're involved in, that you give it your all, that you're passionate about that work, because that shines through in what you do. If you don't enjoy the work that you do, then you're going to be miserable in it.
I cannot say enough about how much I love what I do because of the people that I work with, because of a community that surrounds us with strength. And people don't understand that the strength of people that are behind you and everything you do is immense. It means the world to everything. It's great to be here to say thank you for that, but also just to encourage others, don't miss out on these opportunities, because it will make the biggest difference in everything that you do. And I think I will speak on behalf of all the other Women of the Year that they feel the same way. I want to congratulate each and every one of them. You are true pillars of study. I don't feel worthy to be in your presence, but you are amazing women. And thank you to the Chamber for celebrating this, celebrating champions of our community, because we're only getting better every year because of you.
The Women of the Year award means so much to me. And I think it's so special, especially because I have 4 daughters, and they felt such pride when they saw me receive it. And so I'm so happy for that moment alone. And congratulations to all the other recipients. I am honored to be on stage with you. We all work together, all support each other, and congratulations. To Miss Fertitta, just like my mother-in-law, you are so well deserving of the Legacy of the Year, and congrats to you.
I'm so excited to be a part of this year's 5 great women being recognized as Women of the Year, and especially Miss Fertitta. I know she's done so many things and been so gracious to the community, Galveston County, and the people that live in it. It's well deserved.
Congratulations to the other Women of the Year. I'm so honored to have this award next to you all. You are incredible. And we are so grateful to have you in our community. Enjoy. I can't think of anybody more deserving. Thank you for all that you have done.
I began with the conference committee that started the first women conferences many years ago, and was very exciting to see that. And I'm glad that now 18 years later, we're still going strong. And I do want to congratulate all the other Women of the Year, as well as the legacy of Ms. Fertitta, in that everyone has been outstanding in the fields that they have worked in. And so I am privileged to be here among them.
You know what I really wish is I wish my mother could be here to see me receive this award, because in all reality, my mom made me who I am today. When I say that I am just beyond myself, being up here with all these other women and being able to say I'm a Woman of the Year with them is just like, I still don't have words for it. Like, I'm still in shock.
Congratulations, Megan! Woo! Yeah!
Hello, Megan. Congratulations on your recognition as one of the Galveston County Women of the Year. I remember the days that you worked for me at the Capitol, long time ago for both of us when you were just a youngster. But this is well deserved, and I really am proud of all that you've accomplished.
Hi, Megan. I just just wanted to say I'm super, super proud of you. I love you so much. And I have a couple of people here with me that wanted to say congratulations for winning Galveston Woman of the Year.
When Miss Connie was told that she got Woman of the Year, I remember turning to my mom and asking her if she had ever gotten it. And when she told me no, she hadn't, I was so shocked and I said, "That's crazy, I'm sure you will." My mom teaches me how to be positive and kind in everything I do. She truly deserves to be Woman of the Year.
Mama J, we love you so much and we're so proud of everything that you do and you deserve every bit of this.
Hi, Mom. I just wanted to say that I'm so proud of you for receiving this award, and I am just so lucky to call you my mom. You're not only a wonderful woman, you are also a wonderful mother, and I just can't say enough good things about the person that you are.
Hi, Mom. Congrats on the award. It is much deserved, to say the least. You fully put your heart into everything you do. I am so proud of you. If I haven't said it already, I've always been proud of you, and you have just been the biggest inspiration, and this is a much, much deserved award.
Hi, Mom. I just wanted to say congratulations on this amazing achievement. There's nobody more deserving than you. You are the most kind, the most selfless, the most caring person I have ever met, and I hope one day I can be half the woman you are.
I've known Jill since I was 6 years old as I sat in her first grade classroom at Armand Bayou Elementary. It was there that she fostered my love of learning and inspired me to dream big dreams and figure out ways to achieve my goals. Congratulations on being named the 2025 Galveston Regional Chamber of Commerce and McLeod Moody Woman of the Year.
From running a family with 4 children, to being a first grade teacher, to running the ballet, you have always given 110% in whatever has been asked of you. I am so very proud, and congratulations.
We just want to personally, on behalf of the Galveston Regional Chamber, this place and all the lives and the organizations and the people that you have touched. Why am I getting all shaky all of a sudden? I usually do this really well. Congratulations, Leslie! Woo! Congratulations, Megan! We love you! So many people, so many lives, so many organizations. So it's a great honor. I've been sitting out in the parking lot for 45 minutes. I could not wait.
Connie, I'm so very proud of you. Congratulations for this well-deserved award. I'm so proud of the woman, the wife, the mother, and the business owner you've come to be. And this award just reaffirms what we already knew. You're just so gifted and so talented. Couldn't be more happy for you. Well deserved.
Hey, we are excited for you. Congratulations on being nominated as one of the Women of the Year.
Your friendship means so much to me, and I see how every person that walks into your office or into your world on a daily basis, your world stops and you make them feel so loved.
Thank you for all the fettuccine that you made me over my birthday.
We love you. Congratulations.